Welcome to the Old Souls and Seekers podcast, a podcast that transcends the typical personal development journey. You're not new to this. You've read the books, attended the seminars, and perhaps even tried various coaching programs, yet something still feels amiss. Elon and Guy have over 2 decades of relentless searching and $1 million invested in their personal growth quest. Here's the revelation. You're not missing anything. You're not even behind. You might have just been searching in the wrong places. In each episode, we'll uncover the most effective, straightforward practices that have profoundly impacted our lives and the tens of thousands of our clients from all over the world. This is about real, sustainable results for those dedicated to their personal and spiritual growth. So get ready to explore and enjoy the show.
All right, welcome in, folks. How's everyone doing? While we're waiting for everyone else to get here, what's going on, Robert? Let's just take a few minutes, set the container together. So just an invitation to close your eyes and take a moment for yourself. So just unhooking and finding the spaciousness around the head. And just kind of settling into your awareness a little bit. So again, if you're just getting in, just an invitation to close your eyes and take a few grounding breaths, belly and chest. Just closing your eyes. Let's see if you can unhook from the center part or the center point of the head and bringing awareness to the spaciousness around your head. And just noticing what happens as you begin to find that spaciousness around your head. And so I'll just name for me, when I begin to find the spaciousness, I can actually feel like the center channel of my body almost drop, which I relate to as a parasympathetic nervous system response. And so even if we could just notice that little toggle from sympathetic to parasympathetic, and I'm not sure who is iPhone 7, but if you don't feel anything and there's an experience of feeling numb, my invitation to you is to not try to feel through the numbness, is to actually recognize that numb is the sensation. It's not the absence of the sensation. So sit with the numbness. This is like a functional freeze response that many people live with. Okay, so stop trying to get through the numbness, start sitting with the numbness. So for those of you guys, again, just coming in, close your eyes, take a deep breath, unhooking from the center point of the head, bringing awareness to the spaciousness. And you really want to get clear, not good, but clear on this shift of going from local awareness to non-local awareness. So important. It's really the foundation of everything. Yeah, and again, for that bit about numbness, you are where you are, you're not where you're not. My invitation is to just be with the experience that you're in and stop trying to shift the experience. So if you're experiencing it as not feeling anything, then be with the not feeling anything. Stop trying to feel something. Yeah. And it's okay. We all get started somewhere. I can't tell you how many people we've worked with for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. They're like, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything. And then they're like, I feel everything, I feel everything. So, it's like go at your pace. It's all good. So, what is it like to just give a moment to yourself and instead of trying to make something of this moment or use this meditation for another performance gain, is to just be with the experience as it is. I know if I asked how many of you guys want to transform your life or transform some area of your life, or if I ask how many of you guys want to experience healing, probably everyone here is going to raise their hand, right? And is raising two hands. Some of you are ready to put your feet in the air, right? Shave your head, whatever, give your house away, like whatever it takes, right? I get it. So I want to really begin by just honoring your level of commitment to your own growth and healing. That already says worlds about you, about where your integrity lies and where your commitment lies. And so just take a moment to even feel healthy admiration for yourself. And it doesn't have to be about the gains that you've made necessarily. It's just the willingness, honestly, to show up. I got you, James, right here with you. Forget performance. Admire yourself for showing up even when there was no performance gains. Admire yourself for showing up even when you're confused and you don't understand what's happening and why it's happening. I want to offer you, I'm not a person with answers. I don't have them for you. It's too much liability to even try to be that person. I'm not here to make you happy. Your joy is your own responsibility. I'm just like you, another human being on the path, still trying to figure it out, still trying to make sense of it, still grasping at things with my mind. And I've been in a fortunate position, again, through my own level of commitment or through my life path, call it whatever you want. But I've had really, really wonderful teachers to guide me. And I also want to tell you, I know the pain that you're in. I can relate to it, even if I don't know your exact circumstances. And the really cool part about healing is it's significantly better when we do it together. So find your heart for a moment, find the back of your heart, drop the awareness to the back of the heart. And I don't know about you, but I would love to wake up one day, I'm not there yet, and have just complete and utter trust in this thing that people call spirit or God or nature or universe or whatever it is, right? Just like full blown, let it all go, like, Father, Son, Father Earth, Mother Earth, whatever you want to say, like, you got me. Like, I don't have to worry anymore. And I really, really do believe that that's where we're heading. And these children, I mean, these children that we call the human race, which really are children, we're in our infancy, are confused and disillusioned and disoriented. And that's just part of our work is to clean that up and to get back in alignment and to recognize our true nature. And every moment that you sit with your confusion or your freeze or your frustration and you let that be witnessed and you get held in that, is another moment you recognize the disillusionment, which is another way to say you also recognize your true nature in that moment too. So at some level now, through all the noise, through all the fear, through all the confusion. Hold that. Don't try to get rid of it. None of us are God here. We don't have all the pieces of the puzzle. We don't really know what's going on. But there's a part of us that just knows truth. Can you find that part in you? That when you hear something true, not the part that gets taken advantage of by media or by social media or by opinions of friends or by getting pulled into conversations that rile you up. It's like it's behind all that noise. It's the face you had before you had this face. It's the part of you that really doesn't die. And what we're touching with these experiences, when we come away from the localized mind and we go into non-local awareness, we recognize the very nature and truth of awareness itself, is that nature is pervasive. There is nowhere where it's not, just like God. And so this is kind of gonna throw you for a little bit of a loop, but let's play. So you guys are touching this thing that we call awareness, right? That's what this nervous system reset protocol is, a fancy scientific terminology for saying be present. Because that's the modern nomenclature that people understand. And there is a real, tangible, measurable, scientific impact on your nervous system when you're being present. I mean, down to the stress responses of the body, down to the hormones of the body, your cellular tissue and the atoms inside of you recognize stress when they feel it. They know when you're not being present. And there's a way that biology works when you're being present. And there's a way that it works when you're not being present. Your biology is in constraint when you're not being present. And you want all this flow in your life. You want all this energy in your life. Well, guess what? It can't enter into constraint. So here's the loop. When you begin to touch awareness and you think, oh, this is my awareness, here's the loop. That's not your awareness. That's just awareness. One shared, call it a quantum field of consciousness, different branches of the same tree, but still the same tree nonetheless. So see if the part of you that recognizes truth somehow, some way gets a sense of that. And it's enough to just touch it or glimpse it. You don't have to embody it. You don't have to understand it. Can you just, some part of you, can you feel it? And if there's a part of you going, no, I can't feel that, I assure you that's your mind and conditioning that's saying that. Maybe it'll be useful to bring your awareness to at some point in your childhood before all this stuff got layered on top of you, before the conditioning happened, before the survival patterns and the character styles and the constraints and the physical body shaped itself. There were these moments where you just knew something. It wasn't necessarily linguistically, but you had a feeling in your body. I remember I used to get these kind of tingles on the back of my spine, especially when I was like being held by my parents. I have like a really burnt memory of being 3 years old in these kind of like blue overalls on my mom's lap. And I remember this feeling that I had in my body. We were kind of sitting at the dinner table with the whole family. And it would make my body like shiver, It's like this from pleasantness. Maybe you could find something in your past that feels like that. And then again, somehow, some way, recognize something about that. What was the truth of that experience? Maybe it was just a moment where it felt really safe, so you were finally relaxed enough to feel this presence. and recognize that it's not lost. It's never even gone anywhere. The moat that you built just got bigger. Felt like the armies were coming to get you. So you built bigger walls and you built a bigger moat, but that doesn't change what was on the other side of it. And so from that place, just see if you can recognize in this moment that you're not by yourself. Like really, through your awareness, take in the other people that are here. And it's more than just your eyes. It's really notice with your awareness. It's more than your mind. Feel the other people somehow, some way. Find them through the field and recognize that in this moment, I'm not by myself. And even if it's just through a little baby straw, take a sip. How many of you guys can find the part of you that even if something feels good, it kind of still feels a little scary because you think to yourself, it's not going to last. So what's the point? Rather sit back here behind my moat with my pouty face and my angry parts and the ones that don't trust. Because if I really peeked my head out there and I really had hope again, my heart's going to get crushed. Does that sound familiar? Scary, scary to open your heart again. But that kid that felt that thing that I described earlier had an open heart, didn't they? Before the world became too scary, before they let you down, before the misattunements, before. And so I know that when we come into this work and we begin to sit together in these minis, every one of those times, we got to face those parts that are begrudgingly and slowly putting out their hand and asking for support again. And kind of like, I don't know about you guys, but for me in the beginning, it was like two eyes shut, one eye like kind of opening a little bit, like, are you really there? Are you really going to be there? Are you really going to not drop me this time? Are you really going to be present with me while I'm going through this experience? And part of why we do the mini is to begin to build that trust again. Because if you don't have that trust relationally, how do you ever build that trust with spirit? We're all playing a relational game. Human beings are relational beings, biologically, spiritually, energetically. Yes, we have these eyes. Yes, they separate reality into these neat little packages and objects and people. And it makes it feel like we're on this ride all by ourselves, freaking the fuck out, mind you, most of the time. But that's not the true nature of things. And that's why it's so important to glimpse true nature, even if it's just once in a while, because it reorients your compass. And how many guys, just by using the word like healthy admiration, it felt really different than being admire yourself, which can be quite egoic. and can get into narcissism and selfishness, right? Which can feel unhealthy. But that, for some reason, that little pointer, it's like healthy admiration. Oh, okay, healthy admiration. Yeah. And so there is a scary version of hope. As wonderful as a human attribute that hope is, it's a wonderful backdoor to disappointment. And I've used hope a lot in my life to disappoint myself and to make my masochist part very satisfied. So see if you can, again, somehow, some way, notice the difference between healthy hope and the way that ego can grab these characteristics of art that we have and make them into something rather painful because it views it through the conditioning that it knows, and that conditioning is really, really only caring about survival in its most primitive essence. Imagine if you actually knew that you lived forever, like no doubt, not some esoteric idea of consciousness, but you like knew to your, bones, whatever. Yeah, I'll be Anna Brown in this lifetime, but next lifetime I'll pick another avatar. It'll be super cool. You'll see. You would play the game differently, wouldn't you? If it didn't feel like your life was on the line every time you made a decision. I may have shared this like many months ago, but I want to recreate something with you. I once got trained by an organization and they would tell the kind of the creation story in their own way. But I'm going to fast forward it big time just to get to the punchline. But it basically starts with that in the beginning, there was just everything, nothing. And then everything, nothing does that for a few billion years and it gets really boring. So then everything, nothing creates another everything, nothing to relate to. But then there's just two everything, nothings relating to each other. And after a few billion years, that gets really boring. And so the story kind of keeps going like that, where everything, nothing starts to create more and more and more. But after a few billion years, it gets really boring. And so eventually, like everything, nothing creates beings, conscious beings, right? So that the beings can marvel at everything, nothing. But after a few billion years, that gets boring. And then so it has to create some kind of a game to make it interesting. And what's the nature of a game? That there has to be winners and losers in this game, right? But here's the thing, even if there's winners and losers in the game, as long as you know that you are part of everything, nothing, the game is still not interesting to play. So how do you make it interesting to play? Well, you got to put your life on the line. But if you still are aware that you're everything, nothing, and you're putting your life on the line, it's still really not that great of a game to play. You know how you make it really interesting? You have to forget that you're everything, nothing. Now your life's on the line. Now the game's interesting. And so there's a lot of traditions that talk about the fall or like some kind of severance, right, from that recognition of the everything, nothing. And I think part of that game is because beings ultimately want to source and recognize directly their true nature as everything, nothing, not be told, not be given, right? And so everything seems to go through a cycles of expansion and contraction. I don't know how many of you guys follow like ancient civilizations, but something I found out that I thought was extremely interesting was so right now, like energetically speaking, again, I don't know how much weight you put on this kind of stuff or don't, but for example, I don't know how many of you guys know the Jesus fish is on the back of people's cars or why that symbol is used. But like Jesus is basically the like the enlightened story of the era of Pisces, which we just exited, and we just entered the age of Aquarius. And so Pisces is a fish. And so the story of Jesus, whether you know like Ra or Ra from ancient Egypt, the story is exactly the same. Born on December 25th, three wise men, da 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 da. That story has been told for many, many, many eras in our history, not just with Jesus. And so you have this Pisces. So we've just entered the age of Aquarius very recently, in fact. And so that story will be retold in its own way, right? But there's this, I had a point for that story that I wanted to elaborate on now that I forgot. But um, there's like a new energy that, oh, this is it, the ancient civilization. So that we've gone through these different eras. And what they've seen is going back about 12,000 years, all the ancient civilization sites that they have found, one thing has been missing from those ancient civilization sites. Let's say two major things. Number one, there's no weapons at all of any kind. The second, there's no major burial sites of any kind, meaning there's no evidence of any wars happening at those periods of time. So there's a theory now that awareness goes through these periods of war and through peace. And there's this like distinct line where like these civilizations end and then like the Egyptian civilizations and that kind of stuff begin. And at that time, you do start seeing weapons and you do start seeing major burial sites where they can find, bones stacked on top of each other and stuff like that. And so, again, as the theory goes, if you look at it from a theoretical perspective, because we couldn't know, is that we've just exited another 12,000 year cycle of war. And we're entering into this new energy that gives us an opportunity for a very peaceful existence. And if you look at the structures of our current society, it's very clear that this was built by the mind, not by the heart. And when something is built by the mind, like we said, big moats, big walls, lots of fear. And fear is what drives violence, right? It's what drives people to do all sorts of stuff. So since we are the generation of people that are going to live in both those worlds, it's really, really important for us to recognize both what we have carried over, why we carried those things over, and it gave us an opportunity to learn. And then what do we get to let go of and surrender into so we can build a foundation for the children to step into a new world. And if we are truly living forever, the world that you're building in this body is the world that you're going to get to enjoy as well. They say a wise man plants trees that he will never get the benefit of sitting underneath that tree and enjoying that shade, right? But in an esoteric sense, you will. You will. Part of what drives my personal commitment, and again, just reflect on your own, is that I really do believe I'm going to embody on this planet again. I've done this so many times. I can't imagine my soul's not going to roll the dice again on this one. So when I do work, I think to myself, well, yeah, maybe it's really, really challenging in this body, but I have gotten glimpses and experiences of past lives for myself, and they have been much harder than what I'm dealing with right now. So if I keep taking that out and zooming out on that vision, I'm like every embodiment I want to have, I want it to be just a little bit, a little bit easier than the last one. It's like, what do you, and this is my point is like, if we stop working through the lens of performance, like how many guys I get you want to heal? I know you come for so many reasons why you came here. And maybe those reasons are wonderful, but they're also probably being sourced from the distortion of your conditioning. 99.999% of all actions we're taking have been taking, I should say, for the most part, have been a direct response to a nervous system that doesn't feel safe. So then are they then did you choose those actions or those choices or like knee-jerk responses? Most of us don't even know what a choice is. Yeah. And I've shared this a few weeks ago, I think too, but it's like if you've made a lot of decisions in your life, you've made very few choices in your life. I'll prove it to you. Even if you take the word decide, the suffix of the word decide is CIDE. It shares its lineage with what words? Pesticide, homicide, genocide. So what does side mean? You know what the suffix means? It means to kill off, right? So when you're saying homicide, to kill off one, genocide, to kill off many, pesticide, to kill the pest. So what does decide mean? It means to kill, it means to kill possibility is basically what it means. It means kill off possibility. When you decide I'm bad, when you decide the world is this way, when you decide a political group of people is that way, what have you done? You've narrowed the experience of the reality that you're willing to have. You're saying, this is my comfort zone. Anything outside of that is a threat to me. And then you try to create a perfect life from this very, very narrow band of possibility, which is like, trying to box with two hands behind your back, basically. So this work, right, creates an opportunity for you to be with everything that you have been conditioned to believe that you cannot be with it. When an experience happens, relationally, circumstantially, and it scares you, it threatens you, I promise you, you're not in that moment, you're not operating from your higher self. You're operating from conditioning, knee-jerk responses, and, you know, autonomic nervous system stuff. You're not even there. And it just perpetuates the very cycles that you want to get out of. It's asking a lot, from any of us to say, hey, could you be with that experience? Could you be with that numbness? Could you be with that fear? Could you be with that anger? Could you be with that rage? Could you be with that terror? I know that's asking a lot, but here's the deal. I'm not asking you to do that on your own. That's why we teach it the way we teach it. That's why we start where we start. Sit with other people. Get in the habit of doing that. If nothing else, if you don't do anything else in this community, if you don't ever go into more, advanced work with us or investigate any further, shit, just do that for yourself. You will be light years ahead of everybody else. Just in that practice, just in that small little lifestyle change. And it will give you an opportunity to expand your capacity to be with this reality. This reality is insane. And I don't mean like what you see in the news. I just mean like reality itself as a phenomenon is insane. It is vastly multidimensional, pretty psychedelic, incredibly colorful, and just like anything can happen. And we're not here to say, here's the perfect way to be a human. We're saying, here's the perfect way to start being with the experiences that human beings can have. And at the end of the day, like, being an educator the way that Elon and I are, here's the really cool part is we get to hear a lot of stories. We hold a lot of things with a lot of people. I can't tell you how much crazy stuff happens in this community on a weekly basis. Deaths, sicknesses, money falling from the sky. I mean, like you name it. It's like every week, week in and week out. It's wild. So a lot of you guys came here because you want to have this like perfect life experience. You want to have this like dream life. And like maybe that's in the cards for you. I don't know. But my life got a lot better when I stopped trying to drive the ship towards this fantasy life that I had in the back of my head. Like I'm now how old am I? I'm almost 42 years old. Okay, so I've been around long enough to know that the visions that my 20 and 30-year-old self that was sure that it was all going to happen that way, none of it happened that way. It happened how it happened. And when I held those things really closely to me as like has to happen for me to be happy, I wasn't. I was just suffering because I was never with where I was. I was always trying to get somewhere else. And so life became about the performance. And then social media, we know. Then we put the performance on. Like, but the real satisfaction is in really embracing your humanity and what arises within you as you deal with the relationships and the circumstances in your life. Like, how fucking present can you be? Because every moment you're not is a wasted moment of your life. Every moment you're trying to deal with the conditioning, every moment you're trying to make it some work some other way than it's working. It's working how it's working. You just think you're broken. You don't think it's supposed to work that way. Your machine is so fucking intelligent. Your body hasn't forgotten to disconnect it to everything, just your mind has. It's so intelligent. When it feels afraid, that's the intelligence. When it feels sad, that's the intelligence. When it feels rage, that's the intelligence. When it feels bliss, that's the intelligence. When it feels isolated, that's the intelligence. There's never a moment where it's not the intelligence. And we all have an opportunity to either participate in that intelligence or to have an opinion about what's going on with that intelligence. And trust me, it does not give a shit about your opinion. You're the only one that really cares. Well, I used to have mentors that said opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one and they all stink.
Are you feeling inspired by these podcasts? Is this approach striking a chord with you? Imagine taking this journey even further with personal coaching from Guy and I, right from your own home on Zoom. Join us at our next live event. They happen quarterly. It's an accessible, cost effective way to dive deep into these transformative practices, not just theoretically, but experientially. Attendees often share that they've experienced unprecedented levels of peace, support, forgiveness, and awareness. Remember, healing isn't just a mental exercise, it must be felt and released through the body. So here's a special gift just for you, our valued listener. Visit intuitivemind.live and use the coupon code OLDSOUL to receive 25% off your ticket. The Intuitive Mind event is unlike any other. So impactful that many participants return multiple times, some as many as 10, 12, even 15 times. Plus, once you register, we'll immediately send you a recording of a previous event so that you can start practicing right away. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to intuitivemind.live, secure your spot for our next live event using the coupon code OLDSOUL, and start your transformative journey today. Now, back to the show.
And then instead of actually feeling through what you're participating in, you form an opinion and then you try to get other people on your side so that you can somehow prove to yourself that if people agree upon my opinion, it must be true. There's just people agreeing on it. You know, that at some point everyone agreed that our planet was the center of the universe. They also agreed that our planet was flat. Those were worldwide agreements, and people lived inside of a paradigm that disabled them from traveling around the planet because they thought they would fall off the fucking edge of it. And everyone agreed that that was true. In fact, I think we like fought over it for 500 years because, you know, we're intelligent and all that jazz. And I assure you that there are as big paradigm things that we're currently holding on to as if the world is flat in our lifetime today, that in 500 years from now, our ancestors will laugh hysterically at the ridiculousness of what we believe right now is true because we think we're some kind of advanced, technologically advanced society. We're not. This whole thing got started like 150 years ago. Medicine, science, it's all brand new. It hasn't had a lot of time to settle. So, however you feel about what I'm sharing here is, it doesn't like however the world turns tomorrow is how it turns tomorrow. Empires will fall, economies will change, new leaders will be elected, yada, 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 yada. What we want to ask ourselves is, again, when we're taking the actions and we're creating what's next, because we will create what's next. We're very, 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 this species is highly capable, very amazing ingenuity, right? The question is not will we create something else, it's what energy are we going to be in when we create it. And this is why it's so important for you each to do your work. Like I say this all the time, but it's like the most selfless thing you can do on this planet is be defiantly selfish about your healing. Because as you align yourself and as you get resourced and get to those places, it's gonna be no duh how impactful your awareness is on the people around you. How many of you guys have already experienced this? Like when you're grounded, when you're stable, when you're aligned, just look around. Like for those who are on screen. And for those of you guys who are newer, just look around. You are wildly energetically influential. I know you don't want to think you have that kind of power, but you do. And it's incredible what one grounded person in a room or in a community can bring and shift in family groups, in organizations, and companies. It's wild. Or when you're driving, or when you're walking down the street, or when you're with your grandchildren, or when you're at the gym, or when you're making food. We've all eaten food, and you're like, shit, somebody was like poured their heart and soul into this food. You can feel it, can you not? And that's true for consumer goods. That's true for the furniture in your house. That's true for the clothes that you're wearing. So all these things can absolutely benefit. Like, I don't know, how many people do you know that really love their job? Very few, right? Was it like 80%, 90% fucking hate what they do? Yeah, that's the energy that's being imbued in every piece of food that you're eating out there and every piece of clothing that you're putting out there. It's an uphill battle. The clothes that you're wearing on your body right now were probably not made with the best of intentions. Trust me, it's impacting you. So yeah, we are in an uphill battle. Forget battle, it's just uphill. It's hard work to see through all this stuff, especially in the Western world, where everything is so logical and process based. When's the last time anybody here had a creative idea, or you gave yourself permission to even have creative ideas, whether you're like an entrepreneur or something like that, that didn't end with, well, will it make money? And that's the container that we're in. So even our imagination is stifled because of the way that we think, which is capitalistically. I'd love to create that, but I can't make money doing that shit. Then I won't create it. So what is it like then? Bring the intensity down a little bit here. So what's it like when we start creating the things in our life with intention? How many guys perform some kind of ceremony in your life? I don't know. It could be prayer, it could be whatever it is. Yeah, just how do you feel when you do something ceremoniously? Does it bring you here now? My invitation is like just create more of those moments throughout your day. Make brushing your teeth a ceremony. My toothbrush loves me. My toothbrush loves me. Da 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 da. Like do something, and like because ceremony does kind of snap us out of our whatever psychosis we're in and kind of like brings us into this moment. Meditation's a ceremony. Minis are ceremonies. They're opportunities to really feel into what's going on in this moment and be with that. Like you want to add some texture to your life, like start treating it like a ceremony. I've never spent any time with people who are from more indigenous cultures that don't have like ceremonies of the yin yang. Everything's a ceremony. Mhm. Let's see what else is here today. With me so far, I haven't spooked anybody too much. Get some one-star reviews on Google later. He told me that Jesus was like these other awakened people. Very upsetting. I love Jesus. Hang out with him a lot. Hmm. How many guys are doing minis on a regular basis? What is it that Sarah called the points? I didn't like the points. She gave it a cute name. Like I was like, any guys that actually have used the point system that we introduced a few weeks ago? Okay. If you haven't, it's not about the point system, but it's about having some game to play with accountability. I want to try to find this for you guys because a lot of you guys didn't get this doc because it's newer, so I want to share it with you here if I can. See if I can find it. I think I got it. No, not the right one. Sarah, are you here? She was here before. No, she's not here. Okay. I will find it for you. Give me 1 second, please. And I want to share because we're always trying to figure out how do we make this process as simple. Here we go. I got it. As simple and straightforward as humanly possible. So if you didn't get this when you came in, we apologize because we're always looking at what we're doing and trying to make it better and easier and cleaner. And it's always a process. Here we go. Hmm. So there's the link. Okay. We may change the name of this. I don't know. But right now she's calling it the Gold Star Accountability Tracker. I don't love that either, but we'll find a name that works. I've been marketing for a long time, so I appreciate branding. And if you look at the bottom of that sheet, actually, let me just share it with you guys on my screen so we all are looking at the same thing and you're not scrambling. Okay. You guys see that? Cool. So Sarah lovingly put this sheet together, and I want to say lovingly because Sarah does a lot of stuff here with a lot of intention. And so this is our like, week one, week two, here's what you do when you get here, because we wanted to add a lot of clarity. And we know there's a lot of little things and programs and live events and all this kind of stuff going on. It gets pretty, I see a typo. Um, so anyway, on the bottom of this sheet is a little accountability, self-accountability for yourself. Okay. And so we gave basically points to different things that you could be doing. And again, the ceremony thing kind of reminded me of this. So any mini you do, 3 gold stars. Any meditation you do, 2 gold stars. And then if you're in level one, going to a live session, 5 gold stars. So that's kind of what we're starting with. And our aim is that you have 20 stars per week in practices. You can put those together however you want. So that could be like doing 7 minis, which is 7 minis, or through two meditations in there, and then it's like 5 or 6 minis or whatever it is, and then like one live training from that is 5. So put that together. I think was it Ruth, right? You had like 71 points or something like a week ago. You can't see you on the screen right now, but she's crushes her mini game.
52 that week.
52. There you go. 52. Thank you. And what I would love to do is like as a practice is maybe come on these Tuesday lives and I'm gonna ask, so like how many gold stars did you get last week? And it's not to make you feel bad because it's really not, again, it's not about performance. It's about just having some self-accountability. Because if you come here and you're like, I got 4 points and I'm upset about this, that, and the other, and nothing is working in my life, I'd be like, well, what the gold stars are telling me is you're not doing the practices. We can share with you till we're blue in the face about how all this stuff is amazing. And I do hope these are becoming channel chats for me, which I've always wanted to do. So thank you for giving me the space to just ramble about stuff. I hope it's valuable and gives you different perspectives on stuff. Um, but at the end of the day, like there is no substitute for directly experiencing what Elon and I keep pointing to. There just isn't. Like, do you guys get, there hasn't been a website, a video, one of these sessions that I pre like I don't write down anything before I get on these things. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about when we turn this on. You could call it stream of consciousness. I would call it channeling, right? I'm just paying attention to what like just whatever's here for me and whatever comes out is what comes out. And I trust that because I assume that that's what serves for that day. So the reason I mention that is not to pat myself on the back, although I'm sure I deserve it sometimes. It's more like you can't talk about this stuff if it's this way, if it's not self-realized. If I had to talk about this, like regurgitate it to you from a book, it wouldn't sound the same. Do you guys get that? Like, hopefully you're here because you're what you're hearing is a person who's embodied a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about here, and I have a long way to go. Forever, in fact. I feel like I'm a brand new student every single day. And I hope I carry that with me forever and don't build some kind of spiritual ego that makes me think like I've figured anything out because I don't think that I have. Right? But it's like that curiosity is really novel to me and is not something I've had to get back in my life because a lot of my 20s and 30s was about what I knew and how I knew it, and this was really important this way. And now I'm like, life's just going to do what life does. I just want to be in the dance. And I really like having like this community and partners to dance with. And I love to see what it does for people when they become flexible again, when they become more like water and less like rigid walls, and they start allowing for life to flow through them. So I want to say again, like wherever you are and whatever struggles you're in, I am sorry that you're experiencing those things. Some of them are really, really hard. Some of the trauma you're carrying around with you is really difficult and maybe not even from this lifetime. And I've investigated those dark corners more than I care to recount here today. So I've been in the trenches for a long damn time. So I want to just tell you, like, life is not about trying to get to this perfect place. It really isn't. You're going to be in a lot of pain and struggle if you keep trying to get it there. What if instead of trying to seek out God or whatever your contemplations about spirit or God or universe or whatever it is you recognize that that's what's happening right now. Even this really difficult moment or this really difficult health challenge or this really difficult relationship, it's not devoid of that. It is that. And it's pointing you in a direction. And it's not pointing me in that direction. I'm having my own experience. And I'm having my own struggles. I'm having my own conditioning interrupted. And I'm all the same stuff, right? In my own way. And that's the ride my soul chose this time. That's what I get to do this time. That's my work this time. That's my lens this time. But if I really, really engage with it and I really see it, I'm like, shit, okay, I'm gonna stop fighting this thing. I'm gonna start participating in this thing. Feel into that for a moment. Like, think about the challenge you're in right now. What would it be like to stop trying to figure it out? And you're the only one that has the control or power to even make that choice. What if you stop trying to fix it? What if you stop trying to make it better? How much energy and time would you get back? That's an act of courage, by the way, is to stop. And I don't take that invitation lightly because I know what that can bring up in your life and how many emotions can pass through and how many thoughts that's going to bring up. But what that's pointing at is the conditioning, the part of you that grapples and like your mind going in all the directions trying to figure it out. That's the conditioning. I assure you that's the conditioning. And it's taking you away from the opportunity to be present. And this is how I know, because the moment you stop trying to figure it out, you have a world of emotion about it. Is it Asli? I'm right here with you. Yeah, I see you, sweetheart. Yeah, I know, right? Like even facing that, right? I don't know if that's what's going on over there for you, but it's like even facing not trying to resolve it, fucking terrifying. But notice that that's what you're running away from. That's what the conditioning has you think. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Just don't feel this. Just don't feel this. Just don't feel this. Just don't have that experience. That's the intelligence. That experience, that's the intelligence. You want peace, well-being, all those things, connection. That's what not sitting with that is taking away. Now here's the key. Don't sit with it by yourself. Don't shutter yourself away. Don't isolate. Sit with somebody. Be present with the experience. It's always, I mean, literally, I've never seen it not be that way. It's always the portal to everything that you think that you want. It's not getting around it. It's not figuring it out. It's going through it. Because the moment you sit with it, you now know yourself as someone who could be with it. You've been spending a lifetime trying to avoid that sensation in your body. My invitation is permission it, sit with it, and do it with somebody. Don't do it by yourself. And that feeling that it's going to grip you or kill you or whatever it is that's going on inside of your body, it is passing. It is temporal. But as long as you try to keep it at bay, it's just right there all the time, waiting for its opportunity to show itself. So let it have its day. And that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Some of you guys, it's feeling that you're not good enough or you're not worthy. Some of you guys, it's terror. Some of you guys, it's rage. Some of you guys, it's abandonment. You don't have the better or worse experience than anybody else. Trust me, other people would love to feel what you're feeling. They're stuck in whatever they're feeling over there or not feeling over there. You're on the ride you're on. There is no other ride to get on. You got to ask yourself again, am I going to participate in this thing or am I going to suffer through this thing? And we are moving very rapidly. We're already in it to a time of tremendous change. I mean, like legit, can anybody predict where this planet is going to be 10 years from now? There has never been less certainty. Maybe when they were building the atomic bomb was the last time we had a moment like this. And here's the thing, most of us were, I mean, I wasn't alive, but even if you were alive, completely oblivious to the fact that that was going on. But the changes that are here now, we're not oblivious to. We're seeing AI. We know quantum computing is around the corner. Robotics, autocracies, or techocracies, or whatever the fuck we're in right now. It's impossible to predict 5, 10 years down the line. So again, if we spend all our time doing that, you're gonna go fucking crazy. But the changes are here, and I would say that they're not just what you're seeing on the news or the media or laterally what we can think about or what we can see or not see. It is esoteric and spiritual in nature. Why we ever thought an enlightenment is going to be like a kumbaya session of everyone on LSD together suddenly holding hands and like making love to each other, like it's kind of a distorted view. It's going to be crazy, this awakening process. I've been present for two natural births with my wife. It's not like a simple process. It's very fucking intense. Birthing something new is fucking intense. 2 years ago, I was in the jungle. I'll start finishing with this, but 2 years ago, I was in the jungle and quite a bit of ayahuasca. And I had this vision where I watched this, what are they called? Like there's the flowers where it rains and they hold the water, looks like a vase inside. But there's a name for those flowers. Anyway, I saw one of those, but inside was like a human child, and it opened and this like child fell out. And I was like, that was so interesting. And I was like, I asked, why did you show me that? And the plant world spoke to me kind of and said, because we wanted to show you that there's no separation between us and you. Like you guys are actually the like an evolved version of us. It's like a tree is still a thinking thing, but it just doesn't move around. It's like the evolution was to have beings that were conscious but can move around. I've heard somebody say that humans are the AI of the mineral world, essentially, right? So now we're like, notice the fractal nature of consciousness, right? And if you look through the lens of technology, for example, like technology, so it doesn't matter whether you think of a sword or even technology in the way that we have it today in digital and synthetic ways, it's like we build something and then we maximize its efficiency, right? So right now would be like chips on a computer, like the wafers literally can almost not get any smaller. I think we're down to like 1.5 nanometers, right? So it's like you can't like really duplicate, like get much more efficiency. So then we're like, ah, shit, the whole world is so scared. It's like we're not going to get past this efficiency, and we won't be able to get it faster. And then boom, quantum computers comes out, and this is what always happens. We maximize efficiency, and right when we get to that point of maximization, the next technology is born. This goes thousands of years in history. This is true over and over and over again. I think there's a name for this. I don't remember what it is. And so it's like, just think about that in terms of our society. We've maximized efficiency in like a capitalistic society. We maximized efficiency politically. We maximize our technology, right? And we're suddenly moving towards this place where like it's an inevitability that the next thing comes. And so if you live from conditioning, it's craving the stability of what it's known, which wasn't very stable to begin with, by the way. It's an illusion that it was ever stable in the first place. And those of us who cling to that are going to suffer tremendously during this time of change. Not because they have to, but simply because they don't know how to be with the changes that are emerging and what their nervous system is going to feel as those changes come. And our system's gotten extremely good at leveraging that, whether it's social media or the news media outlets are extremely good at leveraging that if you let them. And what they'll simply take away is your autonomy as a human being, your sovereignty as a human being. Just that. But if you learn these skill sets and you're like, hey, I'm building this capacity to be with whatever arises within me, guess what? As the changes come, yeah, it's going to hit your nervous system. It hits mine too. But then you will be able to learn from that, what the hit that goes into this nervous system and expand your capacity into more freedom. Because that's what always happens. Ruth, are you experiencing more freedom than you ever have before in your life? Yeah, right? And Ruth has been at this game forever. Like she's not for a lack of effort on Ruth's part. Go ahead, Ruth.
my whole life, basically.
Yeah,
I came in as a spiritual being, knowing a whole bunch of stuff that nobody would listen to,
that's right.
and I've done all the read all the books, done all the courses, done the therapy, and this is the first time I've really felt some major shifts.
Beautiful. And Crystal, I love your question too. She says, when does being present and just focusing on the now become spiritual bypassing? And when do we take action to try and stop bad things from happening to others? That's a great question. And I'm not the right person to answer that. What I think is like what we get to learn through this work is personal discernment. Because if you, again, it's like when stuff is happening in the world, what you want to recognize is, am I operating from my parts and those are being reactive and now doing the thing that adds more reactivity to the world? Or am I operating from my alignment and grounded state? And that's and that grounded state is taking me towards this action. Those are two very different outcomes. Sorry, balloons. What that action is up to your system at that time when you know how to tune in. But when you don't know personal discernment, going out in the street and being violent could seem like the right act to do at that time. And from that person's perspective, is the right act for that person. I certainly don't crave that world. I want a world of grounded beings. I want a world that people know how to take a pause and sit and digest and feel through and be with each other and actually get aligned in our actions. And that's what I'm saying. It could be as simple from like how manufacturing is done and the intention of the manufacturing, the energy of what's being manufactured versus just doing things for the sake of making money or whatever it might be. This is something I have to face in my own life daily, even in this community. Money grabs are very alluring. I've been doing marketing on the 21st of June. This company will be 15 years old. Yeah, 15 years old. And Elon and I have had many, many opportunities to make millions of dollars in our lives. And I've seen other people do that. They're not around anymore. Nobody trusts them. They don't have businesses because of the energy that they did it from. It's okay to make a lot of money. It really is. It's fine. Those people, generally speaking, aren't in business for very long. It doesn't hold a lot of integrity. And with no integrity, you don't have workability. It's as simple as that, right? So it's like, guys, you're here and I know you want out of whatever it is that you came here to get out of. That's fine. But build the foundation for sustainability. Build it for the long term. Don't build it for the next 6 months. Don't build an H&M, you know? Don't do fast fashion on your life. And the good things take time. But I assure you, where you will be a year from now in this work will be in a place you didn't even, was not even on your radar or imaginable that life could be this way. Because as you exit making choices from your conditioning, you don't know what life is like outside of that conditioning. You don't even know what it feels like outside of that conditioning. You are walking through the dark. We all are. But here's why we're here together, so we can point at it for you. We're a little bit, I'm putting this in big quotes, further down the path. Not to make you feel bad, just because of the work that we put in. It's one thing to do minis for 3 weeks. It's another thing to do them for 9 years. It's another the level of intensity and healing work that Elon and I have gone through. And the only reason I say that is not to say it's better. We're here simply to point you at what somebody else pointed out for me. I want you to recognize your true nature. I want you to recognize what happens when you unhook from your mind so you can feel that there's a palpable shift happening in your body. And that witnessing from here is not the same as witnessing from here. I want you to feel that and get it into your bones so that becomes a default for you. And that's just the start, by the way. There's a lot more depth to this work than just that. Mhm. Yeah. So just to kind of full bow on this. So I really want to, again, always tell you guys please do the minis first and foremost. Get support. Honestly, whatever's going on for you over there, like don't do that by yourself. And if it feels like a really big rupture today, like do multiple ones today. Okay. For those of you guys who are like pretty new to this community, whether you're here on the live call or listening on the replay, and you want to have a deeper sense of what we're doing here, um, Elon and I have put together like an accelerator, a 30-day accelerator for you guys. And if you want to be part of that, you can go to satoriprime.com/accelerator. Or if you really want to get a lot of information about it, you can go to satoriprime.com/30-day, like 30 day. I could put those links in there if you want. And it'll give you an opportunity to get some more intimate coaching from Elon and I over a 30-day period. We do 2 sessions with you, and it will also give you the suite of all our programs. So you can kind of like dig into level one and just start feeling what it's like to get that level of support for 30 days. Okay. And the reason we're doing that is we want to give you people a better sense of the work that we're doing here, because as rich as these conversations might be, these are just conversations. And those of you guys who have been in our L2 and L3 programs, you have a sense of like, how deep it is. Like Katie and I had a pretty amazing experience, I think, like a week ago. Like it's a different feedback loop and different feedback system. So if you want to have the sense of that work before you decide, hey, is this really the community I want to hang out in? Is this really the people that I want to engage with and trust? Like you have the right to do that. And so we wanted to create this experience for you guys. It's only $500. It's awesome. Like getting coaching from Elon and I can be multiple thousands of dollars for one session. So it's going to be in smaller groups, more intimate. Um, yeah, so it's a really good opportunity. I highly recommend that you do that. And then we can have a conversation with you at the end of the 30 days. You'll be very well informed by then to make a choice as to whether or not you want to do that. And like, we just had a conversation with the coaches. Like, we're here to really double down on the community. Like, what I've realized over the last few months and certainly over the last year is programs are programs. But at the end of the day, where the real richness of value? It's all in the community. It's all in the relationships. It really is. Because whether you're in our programs or not, one day, someday, what you'll have is the bonds that you make here and the people that you trust and rely on. And those people that you work with intimately on a regular basis and become part of your quote dream team will be the reason that your life works out. And a lot of you guys don't have those people in your life right now that you can trust, not in this way. I'm not saying you can't trust them in different ways, but they're probably not doing this kind of stuff. We have people that haven't been in programs in 4 years that I talk with on a regular basis, and they're still like, they still do those things. It changes their lives. They recount over and over again. Holy fuck, I could not have gone through that on my own. Thank God I had these people and these tools. And that's really what we want for this community. It's really why we're making it more accessible at every level, because at the end of the day, it's the fucking community. And honestly, it's what you guys make of it. It's not about Elon and I even telling you what this community should be, because this community has self-directed a lot of stuff that even Elon and I are like, damn, that's cool. Like they're just doing it. But here's the thing, like to create and to do that from a grounded place, not from trying to solve a problem, not from how do we get more performance. Like I cannot tell you how many people here live on opposite sides of the planets that have never met in person that go and see each other. Like people send me pictures all the time. They're like, "You won't believe who I'm with." Boom, picture. Like I'm like, "That's amazing." And there's certainly space for Elon and I to create more of those kind of experiences. And we'll get there eventually. Like there's just a lot of stuff we're holding and creating and creating more stability for and more systems for, and just because we're ready to receive a lot more people into this community. And at the end of the day, it's like, you guys, you're still here pretty early on in the process. It's like you know, people do this work because they see you. They see your work. They hear your stories. Like they don't give a shit what Elon and I have to say. It's really in those interactions that the gold happens. So we're moving some stuff around to really double down on those relationships and on the community and stuff like that, and to make it easier. So, again, I would use the accelerator as an opportunity to deepen your work and to create a bridge for yourself and really say, in these 30 days, I'm going to give myself this opportunity to see if this is the place where I want to plant my flag. Because ultimately, the vision that we have is not programs that begin and end. It's a community that operates in perpetuity. And the programs are more to set foundations at different levels that we know are important. But then ultimately, it's like, I have communities around me that I've been around now for like 10 years. That's how I get support. Because eventually you'll hear Elon and I say this stuff for the 5 billionth time, and you'll be like, I got this shit. I don't need another reminder. But that still doesn't protect you from that life is going to do what life does. And I'm still going to need to sit with people and do this work together. And so we want to create as much opportunity for those connections in our programs. And we want to create as much opportunity for you to have, because what we see with the people, even at the end of level 3, they're like heartbroken that they're not in the program or getting that support anymore. We want to make it simple to just keep having that support, right, inside the community. Like, not for nothing, like we could monetize the mini groups and turn that into memberships. It's one time, you're there for life, right? Like that was done with intent, because we're like, if you come in and just do that, it's going to change your life. Even if you don't have the money, the time, or the commitment to do anything else, just fucking do that. Okay. So if you have any questions about like how programs are shaped right now, just reach out to support@satoriprime.com, or you can even email Sarah directly. Sarah is the right person to talk to. SARA@satoriprime.com, and we can happily send you links, information, whatever you need. I'd love to see as many new people in our accelerator program as possible. To me, it's like a slam dunk, no brainer. So you can only do that one time, by the way. You can't like keep signing up for the accelerator program over and over again. And then again, at the end of 30 days, we can have a conversation. You're going to be very well informed, and if you want to continue with us, then you'll have your consent to give at that point in time. And we're talking about how we're going to like reprice things, and again, just make things a lot more available for people as much as we possibly can. So have a conversation with us if you're interested in doing work with us. We have an L2 program starting here in a few weeks. So I will say this is probably the last level 2 program that Elon and I are going to lead. Okay. We're in the creation right now with our coaches to basically take over those programs. So if you do want to be in the last program right now in level 2, then please reach out to Elon as soon as possible. Let him know that, because that's probably going to be a little bit restructured, and we honestly think for the better. And we're trying to free up our time and space to do bigger things here, basically. Okay. But at level 3, we're still the trainers, and that's the place to really come. It's going to be the place to come play with us directly. And yeah, we'll be rolling out more of that as we kind of solidify how that looks, but we have a pretty good sense of it at this point in time. Crystal just messaged me directly with that question, and I'll happily answer. All right, guys. Love you all. Thanks for being here. Just a reminder, these calls are now every other week. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, dear one, for choosing to share a bit of your day with us. We value you greatly. And as a way to give back and help you to deepen these practices, we want to invite you to join our incredible community on Facebook. You can do so easily by going to joinoldsouls.com and ask for an invite. This is our private community where old souls and seekers are able to grow and share their journey with others. We hold exclusive weekly live streams, we answer your personal questions, and offer valuable insights that we won't be able to share here on the podcast. So again, just head to joinoldsouls.com stalemate.com and grab your invite today. And as always, if you enjoy this podcast, please head to iTunes and leave us a review. It's the only way other people can find this show. So if it's making a difference in your life, please share the love. Until we meet again, have an amazing week, dear one.